What is up, guys? Welcome in to yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show, a special Saturday edition of the Ben Garcia Show. And I thought to myself, who could I argue with? I like arguing with Brendan, but you guys see that every day. So I decided to bring on my guy Espo, who will let talk here in just a moment. Before we get there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, potentially even tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show. The only way I can get these kind of great guys on, whether it's Bo Brock, Espo, we had Jason McIntyre on a couple of weeks ago, is because you guys continue to show love to the channel. Everything keeps on going up. It's awesome, and I couldn't be more thankful. And so without further ado, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia or at Ben Garcia Show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. But joining me today, Greg Esposito, my guy Espo. You know him from PHNX Suns originally. Now he's on Southwest Bias, and now he's just the boss of everything PHNX Sports. What's up, man? How are you?
How'd you come up with the name for this show? I mean, it seems like that was a difficult one to come up with.
You know, man, I couldn't come up with anything witty enough. I used to do this thing called the Daily Desert Podcast, and I was like, I'm not changing it anymore. We're just going to call it Ben Garcia Show, and the wife's going to make the logo. I'll have a dude make a theme song for it, and we're done. We're not changing it anymore. And pretty tough if this thing ever really gets off the ground. Someone wants the show and they want the rights. So it was like, oh, you want the rights to the Ben Garcia Show? Okay, I'll just make another one called the Benjamin Garcia Show. How about that, buddy? So, probably not my most creative thing.
I think somebody would be trying to buy your naming rights at that point, not the show. So I'm sure this isn't what you wanted to talk about, but I just thought we needed the people to hear, how this was brought to life.
You know, it's a lot less stressful than the Kevin Durant situation, but hey, man, if you want to talk about that, let's talk about it. Mark Stein and Jake Fisher came out with it's part of their, I'm assuming it's a Substack, but it's something that you have to subscribe to. They put out their reports. It's a really smart way to make money. We'll get to that in just a second, because that just came down moments ago, and it's really great to be able to have you so late tonight where we have all the reporting for Friday night, unless, of course, Kevin Durant gets traded right now, and then all of this is just for nothing. Let me ask you this, man. You have been in the media for a really long time. It actually frustrates me for how long you've been doing it, because I was watching Southwest Bias the other day, and you broke down the reporting and everyone kind of lighting everything on fire. Like, oh, the Suns are getting nothing. Oh, the Suns are getting everything. In 60 to 90 seconds, explain to me and my audience why you're not overreacting to the reporting of like the Suns are going to get no one, and then the reporting of like the Suns are going to get everyone. Like, what keeps you so level-headed with this? And when you're like, you know what, we'll just wait for the trade to come out.
Well, you could have just called me old, but
you don't look old.
The fact is, you see this for long enough, you understand where sources are and where they come from. There's agents and there's teams that are trying to acquire your player, and there's things that you want out there as you're trying to negotiate. And this is all a song and a dance. And eventually somebody will blink. You'll get something you want. You won't get everything you want. And that's what we're watching play out here in the media. In fact, we're past that portion of it, and we're into the insanity portion of it, where it's gone on so long, people are just saying outlandish things just to gain attention off of what's going on. But yeah, to me, you can kind of tell where these reports are coming from, which side they're coming from. And yeah, nobody's just going to hand you their best offer out of the gate, and you're not just going to accept the first thing thrown at you either. And part of it is pitting these 3 teams or 4 teams or 5, whatever the case may be, against each other. And the reality is, every report you hear probably is a half truth. And you don't really know what's being offered, or who's offered what, or what's been rejected, or what Kevin Durant's camp really wants, because you're not telling that in the media. We won't know till the deal is done what was truth, what was BS, and we probably won't ever really know in terms of it without just trying to connect the dots.
When you see Mark Stein and, of course, Jake Fisher, who I just attributed this to just a second ago, come out literally moments ago, the Miami Heat have remained firm in their stance on not including Kel'el Ware in a Kevin Durant deal. If Ware is off the table, the Suns could be seeking multiple first-round picks. And, quote, it says Miami is said to be firmly against including standout rookie Kel'el Ware in their offers for Durant. Sources say without Ware in a theoretical trade, Phoenix is presumed to be seeking future first-round capital from Miami to help deliver Durant to South Beach at long last. When you see a deal, and this kind of goes towards the Jabari Smith stuff that we heard earlier today from Brett Siegel. They're like, they haven't put Jabari Smith on the table. When you see that, does it worry you that that is more either posturing of like they just want to keep their guy, or do you see it as, oh, the Suns are asking for the right players? I guess really the question is like, you don't see Kel'el Ware in that deal. Are you really trading Kevin Durant? If you don't see Jabari Smith Jr. in that deal, are you really trading Kevin Durant?
I don't know. I think there's a path in Houston where maybe it's not Jabari Smith, but you're getting more of your draft capital back, one of those other young guys potentially that you have interest in. But the bottom line is the Suns in this are showing that they have high standards for what they want for Kevin Durant, as they should, because Kevin Durant is still a top 10, top 15 player in this game, even at this age, and could dramatically change the fortunes for a Miami or a Houston if they acquire him. And Houston and Miami are both saying, we haven't blinked yet. Are you going to? Because the second that Houston puts Jabari Smith Jr. on the table, Brian Gregory picks up the phone and goes to Miami. They're offering this. Are you going to put Ware in? If you're not, you're out, right? And that's everybody. It's the Spider-Man meme. You got all these teams pointing at each other like, you, and waiting to see who blinks. And that's what this all is right now. And that's why the Suns waited out until one of these teams feels like, you know what, it's worth it. Let's just go in on it. And these offers slightly adjust over time. And you go back to the other team, you go, well, now this is on the table. What are you going to do to match it? Like, they're not in a great position of leverage here, but they also aren't, selling the farm and just being like, everything's got to go. So whatever you offer, hey, it's the end of a garage sale. Give me 25 cents and you can have it.
Let me tell you what I think the Suns have to get back in a Kevin Durant deal for it to be a success. I don't have insane aspirations. At first, looking at it, then I didn't think they were crazy. But now I'm like, okay, those are a little far-fetched. And, opinions change. I'm not asking for like the Spurs Castle. I'm not being crazy. I'm not asking for the 2 pick. Castle, I don't think is actually as insane, but it's probably not going to happen. But to just like, here's an idea. I love the Minnesota Timberwolves deal. If it's actually there and not contingent on Kevin Durant signing a contract, because just sidebar, I do think Kevin Durant's going to sign a deal anywhere because he's 37 and it's his last time to cash in probably in the NBA. But Minnesota Timberwolves deal, I like. Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo, 2 guys. I think you even actually put the framework for this deal out a while ago, but those 2 guys keep you afloat, right? I think there's a world where you can see that Devin Booker goes supernova, nuclear, number 1 option, Devin Booker, and does drag this team to the playoffs. Not a true playoff contender, just helps keep you competitive. And then you add Rob Dillingham to that. And you're like, okay, so this is the framework. 1 young potential star player. I'm pointing at Castle, Jabari Smith, Rob Dillingham, or Kel'el Ware, 1 first-round pick, and at least 1 player that can help you win now. Dante DiVincenzo, Rudy Gobert kind of fit that mold, but Rudy Gobert, you kind of got to put in for the money sakes. What are you looking for? Because that's the framework for me to consider it a success. Anything less than that, I don't like it, even though I probably won't go after him too much for it because it's kind of hard right now.
I mean, I think that's the same kind of framework that I would like to see. But if you wind up coming out of it with more draft capital than maybe a younger player that you want, and then you have more flexibility to potentially trade for a younger player from somebody else, like there's some different machinations of this where you go, okay, well, I see how that helps, right? I think the people that will be disappointed in the Kevin Durant deal were the people who didn't have realistic expectations to start with. If you ever thought you were getting a top 3 pick for him, a top 4 pick for him, along with some stud young player and a guy that could help win now and future draft capital, you were just kidding yourself. All right. That was never the position they were dealing from. Right. And nobody was ever going to offer that. I think even if Kevin Durant had 2 years on his contract, you were never getting that, because age is always going to be a concern for people when it comes to a guy. I know we've seen LeBron and Steph play well later in their career, and that's where KD is. But you don't bank on a guy being able to play at a high level till he's 41. Like, that's insanity. So you were always going to get a little less than Kevin Durant at 32 or 34, obviously commanded. But I think if you walk away with something like that framework, or multiple first round picks and some guys that can help you win now, and you get closer to that under that second apron, so it gives you more flexibility in future trades, or also in with mid-level exception money and those kind of things, there's a path to success. But next year isn't about trying to win a title. As much as you always want your team to try to win, next year's about trying to be competitive, trying to stay in the playoff picture, and giving Devin Booker a puncher's chance. Like, get in and see, could you go insane like you did in the 2021 run, and hope that maybe some of these other pieces have career years. But next year was never, if you were going down this route, about being a true title contender, a favorite to win a title. It was about trying to set you up for the following offseason when money was off the books, and give you additional young players or draft capital to help you maneuver. So if you walk away with that, I'm okay with it. And people are like, oh, well, you're just Pollyannic, or you just want to support you just want to support ownership. No, I'm called realistic, because I've been around long enough to look at this and know that sometimes you just have to accept that that's the reality of things, and hope that you get the best deal that you can possibly negotiate with it.
Yeah, I had a guy the other day, call me a mouthpiece on social media. He said me, and I don't remember his name, but I've talked to him a few times on social media, but he said, I'm a mouthpiece just like Gambo, because I pointed out pretty clearly that part of the Phoenix Suns failures are on Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Like I pointed out, and it's not completely on them, but I think it's a shared failure. So when you talk about like explaining what the realistic expectations are, I get it. And I've had to readjust my expectations, because I thought before you could get Tari Eason and Jabari Smith, but that's no longer the case. It's probably Smith, Green, 10th overall pick. And you know what? Readjusting my expectations, I'm like, if you can move Green to another team, I don't hate it. But why do you think so many teams are hesitant on trading for Kevin Durant? And I get it. He's 37. Although he doesn't like me, but I don't think he likes a lot of people in sports, in Suns media, so I'm not special. But I've been a pretty clear defender of Kevin Durant. I've said he's a top 10 player of all time, 50, 40, 90 seasons. He's awesome. He's not a leader, but he's never said he wants to be a leader, so whatever. I get he's 37. But if the price for KD is the 14th overall pick, Harrison Barnes, Devin Vassell, and adding Jeremy Sohan to the mix, like, I'm just going to be honest with you. That's stupid if that's what's holding you back from going and getting Kevin Durant, is adding or taking out Jeremy Sohan. And same with the Heat. If Kel'el Ware is the guy that you're like, we're not letting him go, are you kidding me? I would point to Jaime Jaquez and say, a year ago, Jaime Jaquez was Kel'el Ware, and they didn't want to trade him. Bet you they wish they would have traded Jaime Jaquez last year, because he's not the same player in terms of value right now. And same with the Rockets. You're telling me Tari Eason and potentially Jabari Smith are guys that you're holding on to? I just don't get it, because you just lost in the first round of the playoffs. I don't care how your regular season went.
Yeah, look.
Explain to me why they're so hesitant.
Well, the Spurs, it makes sense to me. I don't think Kevin Durant makes him a championship contender, right? And, Wemby obviously had the health issue last year. If I'm them, I probably hold on to assets, hope Giannis eventually gets cold feet, or some other younger superstar that I can potentially build in that time frame that Wemby's in, right? I get that one. But if I'm Miami, I go all in because Bam's not getting any younger, right? And Spo and Riley are always aggressive. I think this is them trying to act like they're, they've got the biggest muscles at the beach, right? They're trying to show heat culture, right? And eventually, just like they did with Jimmy Butler, they blink, right? I think that is what's going on with the Heat. This is just, we got time. We know the Suns don't really don't really feel like they need to make this deal till week of the draft. We're going to play hardball. I think Houston looks at what Kevin Durant, the hope everybody had when he went to Brooklyn, the hope that everybody had when he went to Phoenix. And I'm betting, I have no source material on this, but I'm betting there's hesitation there because it didn't work out in those two places. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's really Kevin Durant's fault in either of those situations wholly. I mean, the guy he brought in to be his running mate decided that he was afraid of needles, so he wouldn't, and so he wound up not playing in that final season. And then here it just never seemed to make sense in terms of the mix of players. But I think Houston's hesitant because of that. And then obviously Minnesota's hesitation is, if we do this, can we win the title in 1 year? Because that may be the only shot we have.
And the Raptors are just crazy people and are like, well, we don't care. We did it once and it worked, so why not do it again? Just a slight sidebar, because I'm curious your thoughts on this. Do you think Kevin Durant, I think we can both agree, I don't think this is a bad thing, first off. Sensitivity has a weird negative connotation to it. There's a lot of very smart, successful people in the world who are sensitive. I'd say Kevin Durant is sensitive. I said I think he has bunny ears, and that's okay. That's just who he is. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just going to be a little bit harder to go through life having people hurl stuff at you. It's why it's important to have thick skin in this industry. But I guess, do you think he's offended a little bit by the lack of teams that are interested in him? And it kind of goes off of the what I just asked you a second ago, like why teams aren't interested in Kevin Durant, because the Knicks aren't interested. There's a report came out that he wanted to join the Celtics. They said no thanks. And the Spurs, Rockets, and Heat, we're not asking them to add Amin Thompson or Stephon Castle or Bam Adebayo. We're asking them to send a young piece in that likely at the end of the day isn't going to make a difference in those teams winning a title or not. Do you think, maybe I'm just making it up, but do you think he could be kind of offended by how the market has played out? I think he thought he would have had more options than he really has.
I don't think he's offended. He's the one that boxed it into 3 teams that he wants to go to. He knew what he was doing. He's trying to force his hand, and it's his right to do so by saying, hey, I don't want to re-sign with these other teams. Now, he may change his mind at some point, but, I think he strategically did this. So I don't think he's offended by the interest. And look, the Knicks are a dumpster fire again. So, they can't even find a coach, let alone try to make a decision in regards to some major roster shakeup. And the Celtics just didn't, I don't think, had a realistic path to figure out how to make it happen, with where they're sitting cap wise and everything. So I don't think it's probably an offense there. I mean, I think this was strategically done by Kevin Durant, and he's earned the right to use that weight. Now he doesn't have a no trade clause, so if the Suns and Timberwolves agree on a deal, enjoy the cold, learn how to speak Southern Canadian. All right, that's the reality of it. But he's trying to control as much as he can,
which is okay. I don't have any issues with that. Again, I just want to say, I don't know if you've ever been to Minnesota during the wintertime. Last year I went when Cardinals played the Vikings in the dead of winter. It was literally negative outside. You gotta be honest with you. I kind of get where Kevin Durant's coming from. I've never felt that kind of cold. Now I don't care. Send him there anyways. But I kind of understand why he's not interested in it. My God, dude, it was freezing.
You can pay me to go there any time of the year. So I understand where he's coming from. I mean, really, who wants to live in Minnesota?
Many people.
Only the people that live in Minnesota that grew up there want to live in Minnesota, and even they go, you know what? It might be nice to move somewhere warmer.
This isn't a shot at, there's a lot of states like this. This isn't a shot at your Albuquerque native guy, Gerald Borgabe. My dad's from New Mexico. And every day I thank him that I wasn't born in New Mexico and I'm here in Arizona. I guess Minnesota would be on that list.
I don't think Arizona did you much better because you wound up being with these fandom that we've all been afflicted with. But it is.
At least I don't have to shovel my driveway. When I was there in Minnesota, they were like, "Why did you come now?" And I was like, "Buddy's a Vikings fan. We decided it'd be a good trip, and it was. But holy hell, was it freezing!" Hey, I don't want to keep you, it crazy long. It's a Friday night. I know we're all working overtime, but.
I'm a dad that's married. Friday night means nothing to me. I'm home anyway, so whatever you want to talk about.
All right, cool. We'll do another 45 minutes.
All right.
Let's do you think there's a world if the deals don't materialize that the Suns could actually run it back with Kevin Durant next year?
No, it's 99% sure that it's going to happen, and that 1% that it doesn't is because the league shuts down because of some world catastrophe and no team's allowed to make trades before October, right? This is not going to be some song and dance. I think there is a very, very, very slim chance that this goes beyond draft night. Like, this is all posturing. And the fact that people came out and, it's going to be done this week, just set out a expectation that now makes everybody antsy. Guess what? It was progressing in a way that looked like it might be done this week. Then teams have decided that they're going to play poker a little bit because they know in reality, probably that drop dead date to make the best offer is Tuesday. All right. Mm-hmm. Or maybe Monday because the Suns want a little time if they get a draft pick higher up in this draft to prepare specifically for that pick. But there's no sense of urgency for any of these other teams. So why would we expect them to rush to the table before that portion of next week with the draft? Like, to me, I think this was unrealistic expectations set because it felt like things were progressing and they slowed down a bit. Everybody needs to stop panicking and stop freaking out about it, and stop trying to say that the Suns are a laughing stock organization because this isn't done yet. And, oh my gosh, Robert Sarver was cheap, but this would never happen. No, you all forget how bad that was and how big of a joke that man was at the helm of things. And if you really think that you just have revisionist history and you're just trying to make a narrative to make a buck right now.
I grew up on the 7 Seconds or Less Suns. That was my child. I can remember every season from 2003. The reason why people say this, and I don't mean to make this a Matt Ishbia thing, but I think it's an interesting thing to share to you. The reason why people say Robert Sarver was better was because, and I believe everyone who has ever said that became a Suns fan in 2021. Where
what are they? 19? Yeah, it's a total misunderstanding of the situation.
Well, it's like the other thing, like with Devin Booker, right? People are like, "Well, just trade him," and I'm like, "You clearly did not live through the 10 years where they didn't make the playoffs, and we were praying for ping pong balls." I don't want to trade Devin Booker, and I'm pushing it as far down the line as I can. I understand there's a world where you might have to. I'm a big boy. I understand those things. But I'm pushing that as far down the road. He's 28. Like, if I have to sell him at 30, I'm still going to get a haul for him. So why do I have to wait? Like, let's see it through. Maybe the Suns figure it out. Those are new Suns fans who, created accounts without a. I don't take anyone seriously who doesn't have a profile picture and their name on their account. I just don't. They want to say what they want. They want to call people names. I think it's cowardly. I would call them cowardly. But Robert Sarver was, but no, he's not. Like. Okay.
Anybody that's wild. Saying that, I have a tinfoil hat theory for you, all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Those nameless, faceless accounts that are shouting that into the void, whether it's in YouTube comments or on Twitter or wherever, would not shock me if the disgraced former owner is paying bots to do that stuff. Because there is nobody in their right mind that thinks that man was good at anything other than screwing up a franchise. he fell ass backwards into the 2021 finals. And that was after he drug us through the darkness for a decade. All right. And made every bad choice on and off the court that you could. Go read the full report. Some of us lived it, and it's ridiculous to even insinuate that we're in a worse time now than then.
I went to this is the last, we'll get back. We'll get back to the Kevin Durant thing in just a second, but I went to the Game 6 Western Conference Finals where the Suns advanced to the finals. I've been a fan my entire life. I've been waiting for this to happen. So me and my brothers went, and also it was like $400 cheaper to go to the game in LA and buy the tickets there than it was in Phoenix. So we just went to LA to watch the game. The only time, because there was a decent amount of Suns fans there, that booed during the trophy celebration is when Robert Sarver stepped up to the podium. I booed. I was like, screw this guy, because he was terrible. But, hey, speaking of potentially running it back in Phoenix, I agree with you. I don't think there's any world where, I don't think it can happen. I think at that point, it could get to Bradley Beal levels of toxicity in terms of like him not wanting to be here. Follow up. Do you think they can actually, because all anyone is reporting is that the Suns are going to make the best deal, whether it's Gambo, Stein, Shams, whoever it is. Everyone is reporting the Suns are going to make the best deal for the Phoenix Suns. And I actually think that's true. Damian Lillard didn't go to his preferred destination. Jimmy Butler didn't go to his preferred destination. Kevin Durant's 37. Like, the Kevin Durant fans are just going to have to eat it. He doesn't have that much control anymore. He can try, and I applaud him for trying, and it might work. But can they actually send him to Minnesota? Because I think that or Toronto, because I think that there is no world where he doesn't sign an extension with someone. It's a lot of money. He's 37. It's his last time to cash out. Do you think they could actually send him to Toronto, Minnesota, or heck, Lithuania? Maybe they got another LaMelo Ball prospect they want to send us.
100%. All it takes is Minnesota or Toronto to be willing to, and that the Suns feel that it's enough in return. And if that's the case, and they go back to Miami or they go back to Houston and say, hey, do you want to make a run at this? No, then we're sending him there, because the Phoenix Suns can't afford to placate a superstar in Kevin Durant at this point, because they have to get this right. And I don't want to hear if you don't, nobody's ever going to want to play for you again. Guess what? People get over it. And if Devin Booker is still at the top of his game two summers from now, and they are showing some promise, and Matt Ishbia is still willing to spend, guess what? A star or anybody else will come here, whether you shipped Kevin Durant to his preferred destination or you put him in an Amazon box and sent him to Timbuktu. Nobody's going to care at that point. This is such a ridiculous narrative to me. And I think certain stands are the ones floating it out there.
Two more questions. Do you have a favorite offer? I guess I should say we don't know exactly what the offers are out there because everything is sprinkled. But what is your favorite realistic offer for Kevin Durant? Maybe you say it's got a 3-4 team deal component to it. We don't have to go that far. But what do you think the Suns get back? What's your favorite deal that you would do right now, realistically?
I mean, a lot of people hate that I said this. I don't mind the Toronto offer if it's really Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel Quickly and the number 9 pick. Now, Fisher and Stein said there's some conflicting if they'd actually move off of Poeltl, but that one is intriguing. Look, I think they're all pretty close to each other, right? I think that's actually why we haven't seen a move, because they're all fairly similar. Where doesn't excite me that much.
Wow.
He doesn't. It's just,
wow.
I've heard things about his motor, and and after going through that with DeAndre Ayton, I'm like, I don't know that I could stomach another, does this guy really care, kind of storyline. And maybe it's false, and the Suns will do their due diligence, and hopefully if they deal for him, that's not the case. Houston obviously has the pieces, but we really can't tell what they're willing to offer. And okay, 10th pick this year. It'd be nice to get that pick back. And obviously you're going to have to get another young piece. I think they're all fairly equal here. And not to me, there's not one that I go, that is so much better than all the other stuff being offered out there, because they're all lottery tickets at this point, right? It's the promise of a potential young player, the larger contract of a guy that may or may not be able to help you in the present, and a draft pick that you hope could turn into something. That's the framework from everybody right now. So it's, which one do you feel like is the least likely to bust, right? That's what it comes down to.
If the Suns, I mean, my favorite offer, if it's real, is that Minnesota Timberwolves deal. I don't, people that like hate Rudy Gobert, I don't like Rudy Gobert if I was trying to win a championship, but like people just hate him because it's the fun thing to do. Like, I know he shut down the, I know he shut down the league at one point, but he's not on a terrible like it's not great, but it's not like the world's worst contract anymore. And Dante DiVincenzo can hit a three, and Rob Dillingham, like, he's undersized, but what if he's awesome? Like, what if he's Tyrese Maxey? I don't know. Tyrese Maxey's undersized. And then the 17th overall pick, like, I really like the framework for that. It's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I just don't think people want the super spreader. I think that's really, I think it's this hate, but a lot of people have felt that about a handful of guys around the league. And when they wind up on your team, all of a sudden it's, oh, well, maybe it was wrong. Grayson Allen, case in point. Like, everybody's like, I can't believe they traded for Grayson Allen.
Not me.
And then he has a pretty good first season. Everybody's like, I'm really glad they traded for Grayson Allen. It's like, it's all just kind of shifts with the wind. If you win with Rudy Gobert, everybody's going to be like, this French dude, all right. Like, get the French flag out. We're excited. And then no, that's not the white flag that you wave at that point. But, so I think that's what people are hesitant with him. You'll get past that. We'll see. I think this is all going to be essentially the same kind of offer you're getting from around the league. It's, do you prefer Andrew Wiggins or Rudy Gobert as your larger contract, or Jakob Poeltl, or Green in Houston? Like, what big contract do you prefer?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm totally following everything you're saying, but everything goes back to you just having the French catch a stray there, the whole country. I saw someone say the other day, because of all the whatever things going out Middle East, no one cares about my opinion on it. And someone said, these people struck these people, and France has already surrendered. And I was like, that's what my mind went to immediately. So Rudy Gobert, like, hey man, I would love, I think he'd be good to have here. Good lob threat for Book. Dante, I think, brings some attitude and shoots a three ball well and is a good defender. Well, like, fine defender. And I think Dillingham's could be really good. I don't know. I think he could be just as elite as Ware is in terms of their own capabilities. Like,
they're all question marks. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all question marks. So
who do you think wins this thing? Let's wrap it up there. Who do you think wins this thing? And who do you think comes back from that team? I won't let you off this time.
I think it's going to be Miami in the end. I think they blink. I think they give Ware. It's probably Wiggins as part of that. It's it's some draft capital, and Pat Riley and Spo get the guy that they've danced around with for years now. The Suns get enough where they can go, okay, let's start the rebuild, and part of it is the whole Caleb Martin, portion of it that came up in the Stein Fisher piece that Miami's interested in him as well.
Yep. They reported that in their newsletter. I should have said that earlier in the show, but you're right.
I think you look at that, you connect another dot. I think we're getting closer to Miami getting it done. And, KD kind of gets what he wants. The Suns kind of get what they want. Miami gets what they want with having to give up something maybe they didn't necessarily want to give up, and everybody kind of leaves feeling sort of okay. But it's essentially like everybody's first time. Everybody leaves feeling a little okay, but it's still a little weird, and maybe we all didn't get what we wanted. So
listen, we all thought this was going to come back to Kel'el Ware, and I would agree with you. I think Miami makes the most sense. Number 20 overall pick. It's kind of similar to that Wolves deal. I'm just higher on Ware than I am Dillingham. I think Wiggins at 30, who was actually looked pretty decent for the Heat last year, would be a good fit. I know a good idea. Duncan Robinson wouldn't not make it to this team in terms of opening night. He'd be cut because he's got a partially guaranteed contract. But what we didn't think, Espo, all roads lead back to Caleb Martin. It's like the meme of like the little domino and then the big domino. It's like the Suns trade Nurkic for Caleb Martin. KD goes to the Heat. That was the domino that happened there. That was it.
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point with Robinson too. There's ways to make this salary cap make a little bit more sense as well with some of these machinations, and obviously that's something that the Suns want to do as well. In the end, I keep coming back to Miami, and I just keep thinking, all right, this is just them, trying to put their thumb on the scale a little bit and show, hey, we're not pushovers. We're gonna fight till the last second. And guess what? We got Martin out of it too, and we feel good about where we are, and it'll be something dumb like that, or they'll get a couple extra seconds that the Suns can add in, and they'll claim victory, because of Heat culture. And everybody will go, oh, congratulations.
Could you imagine if the Heat miss out on KD once? Potentially, it was Bradley Beal, potentially Damian Lillard. They lose Jimmy Butler, and they potentially miss out on KD again. Like at that point, you have to have a serious conversation in Miami. We allowed, but not because I really certainly do believe that the Heat are instant Eastern Conference contenders. I don't know if they're going to win it, but the Pacers just potentially they're one game away from winning the championship. And even we're all like, are they that good, or are they sacrificing babies in the back? Like, I think
it is Indiana. So
yeah,
God, I'm taking
you got to do something to run,
right? Yeah.
Well, outside of Phoenix, because it's just amazing here all the time. It would be wild for Miami to let this go. So that would be my prediction too. I think Miami ends up doing it. I think it's Wiggins. I think it's Ware. I think it's a first. I think it's Robinson who they can cut, which people like are just overlooking that aspect. We're like, cut Duncan Robinson and you save $10 million just like that. Cut Micic. Like there's a world where the Suns are under the first apron potentially, and it's really tough. It requires getting rid of Beal. It requires getting rid of Beal.
That's going to be very difficult.
But the second apron, not so difficult. Really not.
And it sets you up with more options come free agency as well to try to get a more complete roster because it unlocks some of those exceptions, which I think is a big part of this as well, because they know whatever you get in the KD trade, you're still going to have to add to this roster to be able to be in that playoff picture. And they want some flexibility to do it. I think Miami, the more and more I think about it, it seems like it makes a lot of sense.
My guy, Greg Esposito at Espo on every social media platform, if I'm not mistaken, but I know for sure on Twitter, he's even putting up some really cool clips on TikTok that I think he's editing too. So the guy is just nonstop working.
I hired some interns to do it. I don't have that time now.
Do you think I could listen at the Ben Garcia show here? And I know you saw the other day, I put out a tweet because you liked it. I was like, I have 50 viewers the other day, live stream my show at 7 a.m. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Espo liked it. And like, I know he was doing like hey dude, that's really cool. But also
that was my interns that liked it. So they run my account too. I have Southwest Bias, and then I'm launching another news show, so I need the time. I'm launching.
You're launching another?
I am the Benjamin Garcia show. I'm launching as well. I'll be hosting that in the afternoon. So Southwest Bias, 11 a.m. live, and then I think like 4 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm going to do the Benjamin Garcia show.
Why not?
You can follow me follow the show at Benjamin Garcia Show. What I'm really going to do is I'm just going to watch your show in the morning. Well, I'll have the interns watch your show. They'll kind of transcribe what you're saying, and then I will take the exact opposite stance in the afternoon show. So everybody can have a little of what they want.
I think you would have already done that anyways. We don't agree on much, which is great. I love it. I think it's great. Espo, thanks so much for joining me, man. We went too long. You're way too nice. You try to say go as long as you can, and I take advantage of that, but I appreciate it. You guys do great work over at PHNX Sports, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget for my listeners, for my viewers, my beautiful listeners and viewers, every single one of them is
how do you know they're beautiful?
Oh, come on. They're watching.
They could be
show.
catfishing you.
No,
right?
no. They're watching this show. We don't listen. PHNX, you guys are great. You guys do a good job. You guys got some cuckoo guys over there. Just some.
We welcome, hey, whether you're a 1 or you're a 10, we welcome you in, right? We don't care if you're perfect. We want you as part of it. Ben Garcia, you just heard it here, only cares if you're a 10, if you're beautiful. But we are wide open tent. You all can come in because we care about each and every one of you, unlike this man who just said, you got to be beautiful and be a 10 to watch the Ben Garcia show. The Benjamin Garcia show, we welcome you all in.
Espo, thank you so much for not letting me walk out the door without being insulted. I appreciate that. Follow the show, guys, follow me at Ben Garcia Show on all social media platforms. All of them are at Ben Garcia Show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the show. I will continue to try to bring on guests every Saturday, but sometimes, hey, listen, even I need a break. When you're the writer, producer, social media manager, host, it's just tough. Not everyone can have interns.
To be honest, everybody can. It's not a paid thing. You can get interns. You just tell Cronkite, hey, I'm a business, the Ben Garcia Show. I need 2 kids to help me do this work. Well, two adults. I'm not saying get elementary school kids.
That's not a bad idea. For Espo, for myself, Benjamin Garcia, it's been the Ben Garcia Show. Talk to you guys on Monday at 7 a.m.